Hello and welcome to the Immigrant Programmers channel. This is the third video of the Alpine.js series, and in the first two we have already seen the basics of Alpine. We have seen how to install it. We also created two examples. In the first video we created a word counter like Twitter. In the second one we created a drop down. If you haven't checked out those videos already, I highly recommend you to do so right now. I will leave a link down in the description below for those two videos. However, for those who are here for the first time, I just want to let you know briefly that Alpine.js is basically a framework, a library, which offers all the reactive and declarative nature of big frameworks like Vue or React, but at a much lower cost. You can see right now on the screen that the bundle size, the file size of this library is really a fraction of the big frameworks that we use in our day-to-day lives. Now going back to the alert modal, in this video we'll start with a basic HTML and CSS template. In CSS I've used Tailwind. For those who don't know, it's a minimalistic CSS version in which we already have the classes that are most commonly used, and I would highly recommend you to go through the documentation, but that is a topic for another video. Here we have the basic HTML and CSS, and we can't interact with this modal because there's no JavaScript yet, and we will achieve using Alpine.js what we have over here. We will have two buttons which will open the same component, the same modal, and we'll see how to use the same modal without code duplication. We will send the data inside this modal that we are printing by using xref, and we'll see how we can do that in this video. So let's get started with the code. To get started, the first thing we need to do is have the import for Alpine.js in our head, like I just added over here. Apart from that, let's see our body of the HTML file. And this we have two buttons, deactivate account, cancel subscription, and then we also have this modal that is open on the right hand side of my screen. Now let's see what we have to achieve over here. In the end, we just want this modal to be hidden. So let's add the hidden class by Tailwind CSS and see what happens. If I refresh this page, the modal is gone. And that is actually how we want to start. So rather than doing this with CSS, we would want to achieve the same using Alpine. Now in the button, we can add click event, use jQuery, and complicate our lives because that would include the script tags and etc. But with Alpine, we can do it inside our DOM, and it is very similar to how Vue or React works. To get started, we can use xdata. Xdata is basically the data our component or our div in this case starts with. And we have already seen this in the last two videos. And we will declare a variable called isOpen, and we will assign it the value of false. And why the value of this variable is false? Because in the beginning we want to hide the modal, and making it false we will hide it. For now I'll refresh the page. There's no difference here because we have not binded the isOpen variable with the modal over here. Now we go in the div and we use the xShow directive and assign it the value of isOpen. Let's see what do we have here now. If I refresh this, it's gone. But on clicking on these buttons, the modal is not reopening. So we'll do that next. Modal, on the click of the button, we need to use the @click event on the button. And basically what we want to do is we want to assign the variable isOpen the value of true. Now what we want to achieve over here is that as soon as we click the deactivate account button, the value of isOpen variable will be triggered to be true, which will in turn show this modal over here, or this div which basically contains the modal, and it should show. Let's see if we refresh this page. I click on deactivate account and that's it. That worked. Let me copy the same thing and open the same modal using the cancel subscription button. And if I refresh the file, we see that on the click of cancel subscription, the modal opens. Also on the click of deactivate account, the modal opens. But now this is a real problem. We are actually stuck at this modal. These two buttons, cancel and deactivate, they don't really do anything, and for that we are really stuck, and it is a very bad user experience to be stuck on a modal screen. In order to fix that, what do you think we have to do? You can take a guess. Well, you are probably right. We need to have the event on these two buttons that you can see over here, cancel and deactivate, and the event will basically on the click of this button, we'll assign the value false to the isOpen variable. And I'll copy the same to the cancel button, because in the end we want to close this modal even though the user clicks on either of the buttons. So let's refresh this file. If I click on deactivate account, the modal opens. If I click on cancel, it closes. That's perfect. The same thing with deactivate button, and this is working perfect. And you can see we are opening the same modal, but the text is also same. We might want to reuse the same component as we are doing over here, which avoids a lot of code duplication. But in this case, we want to show different text and different headings, because even on cancel subscription, showing the modal for deactivate account doesn't really make any sense. So let's do that next. So basically, we want to change the inner text of this modal based on the event, based on the kind of button we click on. And for that, we'll use the xref directive from the Alpine.js. And this directive basically, according to the documentation, provides a convenient way to retrieve raw DOM elements out of your component. By setting xref attribute on an element, you are making it available to all event handlers inside an object called refs with an S. So what we are going to do over here is we'll assign it a value, and by it I mean the header of the modal. Let's change this first. So when we click on deactivate account, the modal should show deactivate account as it does right now. But when we click on cancel subscription, it should show cancel subscription. So we can see here we have a heading, and in the heading we have the deactivate account. Let's remove that for now. On refresh, you can see that there's no heading right now, but that's fine. And let's add an xref. Let's name it modal heading. I'll copy this. On click of this button, because we want to execute more things than just changing the value of this variable, we can actually use multi-line in HTML. And here I'll say $refs dot modal heading dot inner text equals test, just to test it out. Let's refresh. On click of this button, we have a header called text. So that means it's working perfectly. Now I'll just assign the relevant string over here, and I'll actually do the same on the click of cancel subscription button, and I'll just reformat this file. And use the relevant string again. And that should be it. If I refresh, cancel subscription on the button click of cancel, and deactivate account when we click the deactivate account button. So that's working perfectly. We have already seen how we can reuse the same component and pass relevant data based on the event that is triggered. And that is pretty good and pretty easy to do with Alpine. Let's do the same with the content over here. And I think you are good to do it on your own. So I'll give you a few seconds to start with it. You can pause the video right now, and we'll do the same thing after about 2 or 3 seconds. So it's the time to pause the video. So were you successful? Either way, we are going to see how to change the content of this paragraph using the same trick we just used. So basically we'll add an xref, and this time we'll name it modal para. Let's go up on the click of this button. This time we want to update the modal para, and again we want to update the inner text. And that should do the trick. Let's save it and run again. This looks perfect, but on click of cancel subscription, we again have the same para because we did not change it yet. So let's quickly copy this, go to the cancel subscription button, add the same logic over here, but with different text. Are you sure? Save it. And now let's see. That's pretty much what we wanted to do. On cancel subscription, we have are you sure in the paragraph. On deactivate, we have the full message as we wanted to. So to summarize, in this video, we have used xdata, we have used @click, and we have used a new directive this time, which is basically xref. And then we use the reference to that DOM element using $refs to basically update the DOM element on the runtime on trigger of an event. If you are wondering about the source code of this video, I'll add a link down in the description below so that you can actually download the source code or refer to it whenever you want. Also, we have now started a website and a newsletter which you can subscribe to so that you never miss an update from us. And this will not only allow you to see all the videos in form of articles, so that if you prefer reading or if you cannot see the video and you actually want to go to an old content, or you want to copy the code which we actually share to you in the video. Let's see, we go to our website and you wanted to go through the TypeScript 4 features that we talked about in the video. Here you can go to the video again if you want want a revision of it, or you can go down, you can actually see the codes we have used and you can actually copy the code from here. So this would be very helpful for you guys if you need the code rather than going to the video again and seeing it again and copying it from there. This would be much better and much efficient, and you can just subscribe to our newsletter and you will never miss an update from us. It will directly come into your inbox. Also, while you are at it, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Also, hit the like button on this video. It will really help us a lot and keep us motivated. Thank you guys, and until next time.